Hello, welcome to the stream. How are we doing today? Thank you so much for the follow, Jovi Skates. Hello, hi Pops. Welcome. It's gonna be a bit of a different stream today because it's the first time I'm doing content that's not gaming, so please let me know if there is anything that I should pay attention to. So what we're doing today is I'm reading some folklore, both in English and in Finnish. And first I'm gonna read it in English so that you know what's going on. And after that I'm gonna read the same chapters in Finnish, which is gonna be just soft-spoken ASMR for most of you, I presume, unless you are well versed in Finnish. And yeah, there is a pinned message that says that all sound alerts and other alerts are muted. Any follows and subs will still pop up, but they won't make a sound. Same goes for sound alerts, they are still redeemable, but I muted them on OBS, so they won't make any sounds. We don't want to disturb the peace. Yeah, I'm gonna read after every chapter. I'm gonna read chat. I'm gonna react to anything that has happened on stream, and if there's any kind of feedback or anything like that that's going on, I'll get to it. I'm a tiny bit nervous about everything because it's the first time I'm doing content where I'm not playing, it's just me. But this has been requested by people, so I hope you enjoy. It's definitely a unique experience, let me just say that. But a bit about what I'm reading. In Finland we have something called a national book called Kalevala, and there's a bit of controversy around it because it's basically folklore from the tribes and the people who have lived in Finland before Finns are here, so it's not necessarily Finnish folklore, which is why I'm not calling it that. A lot of these stories come from Karelian people, where my family comes from also. That's a specific group of people from the border of Finland and Russia, also spreading to Estonia. So this is just folklore from the north. It's being written as if it was a poem, and I will read it as such. And the first chapter talks about the birth of Väinämöinen, who is this very strong character in Finnish folklore, or in Nordic folklore, and how the world was created, basically. TLDR, the world was born from an egg laid by a water bird called Sotka. Yeah, it's gonna be a poem about the birth of Earth, of world. Okay. Birth of Väinämöinen. In primeval times, a maiden, beauteous daughter of the ether, passed for ages her existence in the great expanse of heaven. O'er the prairies yet unfolded, wearisome the maiden growing, her existence sad and hopeless, thus alone to live her ages. In the infinite expanses of the air above the sea foam, in the far outstretching spaces, in a solitude of ether, she descended to the ocean, waves her coach and waves her pillow. Thereupon the rising storm wind, flying from the east fierceness, whips the ocean into surges, strikes stars with sprays of ocean, till the waves are white with fervor, To and fro they tossed the maiden, storm encircled, hapless maiden. With her sport the rolling billows, with her play the storm wind forces, on the blue back of the waters and the white wreathed waves of ocean, play the forces of the salt sea, with a lone and helpless maiden, till at last in full conception, union now of force and beauty, sink the storm winds into slumber. Overburdened now the maiden cannot rise above the surface. 700 years she wandered, ages 9 of man existence, swam the ocean hither, thither, could not rise above the waters, conscious only of her travail. 700 years she labored, ere her firstborn was delivered. Thus she swam as water mother, toward the east and also southward, toward the west and also northward. Swam the sea in all directions, frightened at the strife of storm winds. Swam in travail, swam unceasing, ere her firstborn was delivered. Then she began, gently weeping, spake those measures heavy-hearted. Woe is me, my life hard-cated. Woe is me, in this my travail. Into what have I now fallen? Woe is me, that I unhappy left my home in the subtle ether, came to dwell amid the sea foam, to be tossed by rolling billows, to be rocked by winds and waters, on the far outstretching waters, in the salt sea's vast expanses, knowing only pain and trouble. Better far for me, O Ukko, were I maiden in the ether, that within these ocean spaces to become a water mother. All this life is cold and dreary, painful here is every motion, as I linger in the waters, as I wander through the oceans. Ukko, thou, O God, up yonder, thou the ruler of the heavens, come thou hither, thou art needed. Come thou hither, I implore thee, to deliver me from trouble, to deliver me in travail. Come, I pray thee, hither hasten, hasten more, thou art needed. Hasten and help this helpless maiden. When she ceased her supplications, scarce a moment onward passes, ere a beauteous duck descending hastens towards the water mother, comes a flying hither, thither, seeks herself a place for nesting. Flies she eastward, flies she westward, circles northward, circles southward, cannot find a grassy hillock, not the smallest bit of verdure, cannot find a spot protected, cannot find a place befitting, where to make her nest in safety. Flying slowly, looking round her, she descries no place for resting, thinking loud and long debating, but her words are such as follow. Build I in the winds my dwelling, on the floods my place of nesting. Surely would the winds destroy it, far away the waves would wash it. Then the daughter of the ether, now the hapless water mother, raised her shoulders out of the water, raised her knees above the ocean, that the duck might build her dwelling, build her nesting place in safety. Thereupon the duck in beauty, flying slowly, looking round her, spies the shoulders of the maiden, sees the knees of the ether's daughter, now the hapless water mother, thinks them to be grassy hillocks on the blue back of the ocean. Thence she flies and hovers slowly, lightly on the knee she settles, finds a nesting place befitting, where to lay her eggs in safety. Here she builds her humble dwelling, lays her eggs within at pleasure. 6, the golden eggs she lays there. Then a 7th, an egg of iron, sits upon her eggs to hatch them, quickly warms them on the kneecap of the hapless water mother. Hatches one day, then a second, then the 3rd sits and hatches. Warmer grows the water round her, warmer is her bed in ocean. While her knee with fire is kindled, and her shoulders are burning. Fire in every vein is coursing. Quick the maiden moves her shoulders, shakes her members in succession, shakes the nest from its foundation, and the eggs falling to ocean, dashing pieces on the bottom of the deep and boundless waters. In the sand they do not perish, not the pieces in the ocean, but transformed in wondrous beauty. All the fragments come together, forming pieces 2 in number, one the upper, one the lower, equal to the one the other. From one half the egg, the lower, grows the nether vault of terra. From the upper half of remaining grows the upper vault of heaven. From the white part come the moonbeams, from the yellow part the sunshine, from the metally part the starlight, from the dark part grows the cloudage, and the days speed onward swiftly, quickly do the years fly over, from the shining of the new sun, from the lightning of the full moon. Still the daughter of the ether swims as water mother, with the floods outstretched before her, and finally her sky and ocean. Finally, about the 9th year, in the summer of the 10th year, lifts her head above the surface, lifts her forehead from the waters, and begins at last her workings. Now commences her creations. On the azure water ridges, on the mighty waste before her, where her hand she turned in water, there arose a fertile hillock. Wheresoever her foot she rested, there she made a hole for fishes. Where she dived beneath the waters, fell the many deeps of ocean. Whereupon her side she turned her, there the level banks had risen. Where her head was pointed landward, there appeared wide bays of inlets, where from shore she swam a distance, and upon her back she rested. There the rocks she made and fashioned, and the hidden reefs created, where the ships are wrecked so often, where so many lives have perished. Thus created were the islands, rocks were fastened in the ocean, pillars of the sky were planted, fields and forests were created, checkered stone of many colors, gleaming in the silver sunlight. All the rocks stood well established, but the singer Väinämöinen had not yet beheld the sunshine, had not seen the golden moonlight, still remaining undelivered. Väinämöinen, old and trusty, lingering with his dungeon, 30 summers altogether, and of winters, also 30. Peaceful on the waste of waters, on the broad sea's yielding bosom, well reflected, long considered, how unborn to live and flourish, in the spaces wrapped in darkness, in uncomfortable limits, where he had not seen the moonlight, had not seen the silver sunshine. Thereupon these words he uttered, let himself be heard in this wise. Take, O moon, I pray thee, take me. Take me, thou, O sun above me. Take me, thou, O bear of heaven, from this dark and dreary prison, from these unbefitting portals, from this narrow place of resting, from this dark and gloomy dwelling, hence to wander from the ocean, hence to walk upon the islands. On the dry land, walk and wonder, like an ancient hero wander. Walk in open air and breathe it, thus to see the moon at evening, thus to see the silver sunlight, thus to see the bear in heaven, that the stars I may consider. Since the moon refused to free him, and the sun would not deliver, nor the great bear would give assistance, his existence growing weary, and his life but an annoyance, bursts he then the out portals of his dark and dismal fortress. With his strong but unnamed finger opens the lock resisting. With the toes upon his left foot, with the fingers of his right hand, creeps he through the yielding portals to the thresholds of his dwelling. On his knees across the threshold, throws himself head foremost forward, plunges into the deeps of ocean, plunges hither, plunges thither, churning with his hands the water. Swims he northward, swims he southward, swims he eastward, swims he westward, studying his new surroundings. Thus our hero reached the water, rested 5 years in the ocean, 6 long years and even 7 years, till the autumn of the 8th year, when at last he leaves the waters, stops upon a promontory, on a coast bereft of verdure. On his knees he leaves the ocean, on the land he plants his right foot, on the solid ground his left foot, quickly turns his hands about him, stands erect to see the sunshine, stands to see the golden moonlight, that he may behold the great bear, and then he may the stars consider. Thus our hero, Väinämöinen, thus the wonderful enchanter, was delivered from his mother, Ilmatar, the Aether's daughter. That is the first rune of the book called Kalevala, how the world was created. It was burned from an egg by a duck. So I'm catching up with chat. First of all, Tech Mr. 2023, thank you for the follow. I just woke up, Tara. I'm about to fall back asleep again. Go back to sleep, baby. Bex, how pops? I hope you're all doing well and being cozy. I will read the messages and I will check on follows and such between runes. Next, I'm gonna read the same rune, but in Finnish. So, just as a reminder, this is the story of how the world was created from Ilmatar, who is a goddess, and the duck who laid an egg, and how our hero Väinämöinen was born. Ensimmäinen runo. Mieleni minun tekevi, aivojen ajattelevi, lähtiäni laulamahan, saani sanelmahan, sukuvirttä suoltamahan, lajivirttä laulamahan. Sanat suussani sulavat, puheet putolevat, kielelleni kerkiävät, hampailleni hajoavat. Pelikulta veikkoseni, kaunis kasvinkumppalini, lähde nyt kanssa laulamahan, saakkera sanelmahan, yhteen yhyttyämme, kahaltaha käytämme. Harvoin yhteen yhymme, saamme toinen toisemme näillä rajoilla poloisilla Pohjanmailla. Lyökämme käsi kätehen, sormet sormien lomahan, lauluaksemme hyviä, parahia pannaksemme. Kuulla nojen kultaisien, tietä mielitehtoisien, nuorisessa nousevassa, kansassa, kasuavassa. Noita saamia sanoja, virstia virittämiä, yöltä vanhan Väinämöisen, alta ahjon Ilmarisen, päästä kalvan kaukomielen, joukahaisen jousen tiestä, pohjan peltojen periltä, Kalevalan kankailta. Niitä ennen isoni lauloi, kirvesvarttavuolessanna, niitä äitini opetti, väätessensä värttinätä, minun lasna lattialla eessä polven pyöriässä, maitopartana parasina, piimäsuuna pikkaraisina. Sampo ei puuttunut sanoja eikä louhiluotteihin. Vanheni sanoihin Sampo, katoi luohiluotteihin, virsihin vipunin kuoli, lemminkäinen leikkilöihin. Vielä on muitakin sanoja, ongelmoita oppimia, tiehoista tempomia, kanervoista katkomia, risukoista riipomia, pesoista vetelemiä, päästä heinän hieromia, raitiolta ratkomia. Paimenessa käydessäni, lasna karjalaitomilla, metisillä mättähillä, kultaisilla kunnahilla. Mustan muurikin jäljessä, kimmon kirjavan kerralla. Vilu mulle virttä virkkoi, sae saatteli runoja, virttä toista huulet ajoivat, meren aaltosen ajoivat. Linnut liiteli sanoja, puhujien latvat lausehia, ne minä kerälle käärin, sovittelin sommelolle. Kerän pistin kelkkahani, sommelon rekoseeni, vein kelkalla kotiin, rakosella riihen luoksi. Panin aitan parven päähän, vaskesehen pakkasehen. Viikon on virteni vilussa, kauan kaihossa sijaistunut. Veänkö vilusta virrat, lapan laulun pakkasesta. Tuon tupahan pakkaseni, rasian raihin nenähän. Alle kuulun kurkiirren, alle kauniin katoksen. Aukaisen sanaisen arkun, virsilippahan viritän. Kerittelen pään kerältä, suorin sormun sommenolta. Niin laulan hyvänkin virren, kaunihinkin kalkuttelen, ruualta rukiselta, oluelta ohraiselta. Kun ei tuotane olutta, tarvetta, laulan sulta laajemmalta, vetoselta virittelen. Nän iltamme iloksi, päivän kuulun kunniaksi, vaikka huomenen hyviksi, uuden alun alkeiksi. Noin kuulin saneltavaksi, tiesin virttä tehtäväksi. Yksin meillä yöt tulevat, yksin päivät valkeavat. Yksin syntyi Väinämöinen, ilmestyi ikirunoja, kapehesta kantajasta, ilmattaresta, emosta. Olipa impi ilman tyttö, kavel luonnotar korea, piti viikoista pyhyyttä, iän kaiken impeyttä. Ilman pitkillä pihoilla, tasaisilla tanterilla. Ikävystyi aikojansa, ouostui elämätänsä. Aina yksin ollessansa, impenä eläessänsä. Ilman pitkillä pihoilla, avaroilla, autioilla. Jopon astuiksi alemma, laskeuksi lainehille. Meren selvälle selälle, ulapalle aukealle. Tuli suuri tuulen puuska. Iästä vihainen ilma. Meren kuohuille kohotti, lainehille laikautti. Tuulineittä tuuitteli, aalto impeä ajeli. Ympäri selän sinisen, lakkipäinen, lainehien. Tuuli kohtuiseksi, meri paksuksi panevi. Kantoi kohtua kovoa, patsan täyttä vaikeata. Vuotta 700, 9 yrön ikää. Eikä synny syntyminen, luovu luomaton siki. Vieri impi peen emona, uipi iät, uipi lännet, uipi luoteet etelät, uipi kaikki ilman rannat, tuskissa tuli sen synnyn, vatsan vaivoissa kovissa. Eikä synny syntyminen, luovu luomaton sikiä, itkeä hyryttelevi, sanan virkkoin noin nimesi. Voi poloinen päiviäni, lapsikurja kulkuani. Jo olen joutunut johonkin iäkseni ilman alla, tuulten tuitettaviksi aaltojen ajeltavaksi. Näillä väljillä vesillä, lakeilla laineilla, parempi olisi ollut ilman impeä elää, kuin nyt on tätä nykyä vierhellä Venemon. Vilu täällä on ollakseni, vaiva värjätelläkseni, aalloissa asuakseni, veessä piirielläkseni. Oi ykkö, Juuli Jumala, ilman kaiken kannattaja. Tule tänne tarvittaessa, käy tänne kutsuttaessa. Päästä piikapinteestä, vaimo vatsan väänteessä. Käy pian, välehen jou, välehemmin tarvitahan. Kului aikaa vähäsen, pirahteli pikkarisen. Tuli sotka, suora lintu, lenteä leikuttelevi. Etsien pesän sijoa, asuinmaata arvaellen. Lenti iät, lenti lännet, lenti luotehet etelät. Ei löyä tiloa tuota, paikkoa pahin takana. Kuhun laatisi pesänsä, ottaisi olosiansa. Liitelevi, laatelevi, arvelee, ajattelevi. Teenkö tuulehen tupani, aalloillen asuinsiani. Tuuli kantavi tupasen, aalto vie asuinsiani, niin silloin veen emonen ilman himpi, nosti polvea merestä, lapaluuta lainehesta, sotkaa pesän sijaksi, asuinmaksi, armahaksi. Tuo sotka, sorea lintu, liiteleiksi, laateleiksi. Keksi polven Venemosen sinerväisellä selällä. Luuli heinämättähäksi, tuorheiksi, turpeeksi. Lentelevi, liitelevi, päähän polven laskeuvi. Siihen laativi pesänsä, munikultaiset munansa. 6 kultaista munua, rautamunan 7. Alkoi haitoa muunia, päätä polven lämmitellä. Hautoi pälvän, hautoi toisen, haitoi jopa 3. Jopa tuosta Venemonen, ilmanimpi, tuntevi tulistuvaksi, hipiänsä hiiltyväksi. Luuli polvensa palavan, kaikki suonensa sulavan. Vavahutti polveansa, järkytti jäseniensä. Munat vierähti vetehen, meren aaltoon ajaiksi. Karskahti munat muruiksi, katkieli kappeleiksi. Ei munat mutahan joua, siepalehet veen sekahan. Muuttuivat murut hyviksi, kappalehet kaunoisiksi. Munasen alainen puoli alaisiksi maaemeksi, munasen yläinen puoli yläiseksi taivahaksi. Yläpuoli ruskeaista päiväiseksi paistamahan, yläpuoli valkeaista se kuuksi kumottahan. Me munassa kirjavaista, ne tähiksi taivaalle. Me munassa mustukaista, nepä ilon pilvileeksi. Ajat eilen menevät, vuodet tuota tuonnemmaksi. Uuden päivän paistaessa, uuden kuun kumottaessa. Aina uipi Venemonen, ilmanimpi. Noilla vienoilla vesihillä, utuisilla lainehilla. Eessänsä vesi vetelä, takanansa taivas selvä. Joona 9.10. kesänä nosti päätänsä merestä, kohottavi kokkoansa. Alkoi luoda luomiansa, sautella saamiansa, selvällä meren selällä, ulopalla aukealla. Tuossa kättä käännähytti, siihen niemet siivoili. Muussa pohjasi jalalla, kalahauat kaiveli. Muussa ilman kuplisteli he, siihen syöverit syventi. Kylin maahan käänteli he, siihen sai sileät rannat. Jaloin maahan käänteli he, siihen loi lohia pajat. Päin päätyi maatavassa, siihen laitteli lahelmat. Ui siitä ulommamaasta, seisatteli he selälle. Luopi luotoja merehen, kasvatti salakarjan laivan laskemasiaksi, merimiesten päänmenoksi. Jo oli saaret siivattuna, ilman pielet pistettynä. Maat ja mantereet sanottu, kirjattu kiviin kirjattu, veetty viivat kallioihin. Viel ei synny Väinämöinen, ilma ikirunoja. Vaka vanha Väinämöinen kulki äitinsä kohussa 30 kesää. Yhden verran talviakin noilla uusilla pienillä vesillä, utuisilla lainehilla. Arvelee, ajattelevi, miten olla, kun elää pimeässä piilohassa, asunnossa, ahtaassa, kus ei konsakuuta nähnyt eikä päivää havoinnut. Sanovi sanalla tuolla, lausui tuolla lausehella, kuu keritä päivät päässä, otava, yhtä opeta, miestä ouvoilla ovilta, veräjiltä vierahilta, näiltä pieniltä pesiltä, asunnoilta, ahtahilta. Saata maalle matkamiesti ilmoillen inhemon lasta. Kuuta taivaan katsomahan, päivää ihoamahan, otavaista oppimahan, tähtiä tähyämähän. Kun ei kuu kerit nynnä, eikä päivät päästä nynnä, ouvosteli aikojansa, tuskastui elämätänsä. Liikautti linnan portin Suomella nimettömällä. Lukon luisen luikautti vasemmalla parpahalla. Tuli kynsin kynnykseltä, polvin porstuan ovelta. Siitä suistui suin merehen, käsin kääntyi lainehensä. Jääpi mies meren varaan, uros aaltojen sekahan. Virui siellä 5 vuotta. Ja sekä 5, jotta 6. Vuotta 7, 8. Seisottui selälle viimein niemelle nimettömälle, mantereelle puuttomalle. Polvin maasta ponnihiste, käsi värin käännähiltä. Nousi kuuta katsomaan, päivää ihoamahan, otavaista oppimahan, tähtiä tähyämähän. Synty Väinäväisen rotu rohkean runojan, kapeasta antajasta, ilmattaresta emosta. That was the first rune of Kalevala in Finnish. I'm gonna move on to a second rune in English. The second rune is called Väinämöisen's Sewing. I'm not really into ASMR, but apparently soft-spoken Finnish is my jam. Good to hear that. That's a lot of triggers, if nothing else. Then arose old Väinämöinen with his feet upon the island. On the island was by ocean broad expanse of divide verdure. There remained he many summers, there he lived as many winters. On the island vast and vacant, well considered, long reflected, who for him should sow the island, who for him the seed should scatter, though at least of Pellervoinen, firstborn of the plains and prairies, when the slender boy called Samson, who should sow the vacant island, who the forest seed should scatter. Pellervoinen, thus consenting, sows with diligence the island. Seeds upon the lands he scatters, seeds in every swamp and lowland. Forest seeds upon the loose earth, on the firm soils sows the acorns. Fir trees sows he in the mountains, pine trees also on the hilltops. Many shrubs in every valley, birches sows he in the marshes. In the loose soil sows the alders, in the lowlands sows the lindens, in the moist earth sows the willow. mountain ash in virgin places, on the banks of streams in the hawthorn, junipers in hilly regions. Stork of Pellervoinen, Sander Samsa in his childhood. Soon the fertile seeds were sprouting, soon the forest trees were growing, soon appeared the tops of fir trees, and the pines were outspreading. Birches rose from all the marshes, in the loose soil grew the alders, in the mellow soil the lindens. Junipers were also growing, junipers with clustered berries on the hawthorn branches. Now the hero, Väinämöinen, stands aloft to look about him, how the samsa seeds are growing, how the crop of Pellervoinen. Sees the young trees thickly spreading, sees the forest rise in beauty. But the oak tree has not sprouted. The tree of heaven is still not growing, still within the acorn sleeping, its own happiness enjoying. Then he waited 3 nights longer, as many days he waited till a week had vanished. Then again the work examined, but the oak tree was not growing, had not left her acorn dwelling. Väinämöinen, ancient hero, spies for maidens in the distance. Water brides, he spies a 5th one. On the soft and sandy seashore, in the dewy grass and flowers, on a point extending seaward, near the forests of the island, some were mowing, some were raking what mown together. In the window of the meadow, from the ocean, rose a giant, mighty Tursas, tall and handy, pressed compactly at the grasses that he maidens had been raking. When a fire within them kindles, and the flames shoot up to heaven, till the windrows burn to ashes, only ashes now remaining of the grasses raked together. In the ashes of the windrows, tender leaves the giant places. In the leaves he plants an acorn. From the acorn, quickly sprouting, grows the oak tree, tall and stately, from the ground enriched by ashes, newly raked by water maidens. Spread the oak tree's many branches, round itself a broad corona, raises it above the storm clouds, far it stretched out its branches, stops the white clouds in their courses, with the branches hides the sunlight, with its leaves the moonbeams, and the starlight dies in heaven. Väinämöinen, old and trusty, thought a while and well considered how to kill the mighty oak tree, first created for his pleasure, how to fell the tree majestic, how to lop its 100 branches. Sad the lives of man and hero, sad the homes of ocean dwellers, if the sun shines not upon them, if the moonlight does not cheer them. Is there not some mighty hero, was there never born a giant, that can fell the mighty oak tree, that can lop its 100 branches? Väinämöinen, deeply thinking, spake these words, soliloquizing, Kape, daughter of the ether, ancient mother of my being, Luonnotar, my nurse and helper, loan to me these water forces, great the powers of the waters, loan to me the strength of oceans, to upset this mighty oak tree, to uproot this tree of evil, that again may shine the sunlight, that again the moon once more may glimmer. Straightway rose a form from ocean, rose a hero from the waters, nor belonged to the largest, nor belonged to the smallest. Long was he as a man's forefinger, taller than the hand of woman. On his head a cap of copper, boots upon his feet were copper, gloves upon his hands were copper, and its stripes were copper-colored. Belt around him made of copper, hatchet in his belt was copper, and the handle of his hatchet was as long as the hand of a woman. On a finger's breadth the blade was. Then the trusty Wainamoinen thought a while and well considered, and his measures are as follow. Art thou, sir, divine or human? Which of these thou only knowest? Tell me what thy name and station. Very like a man thou lookest, has the bearing of a hero, though as the length of a man's finger, scarce as tall as the hoof of a reindeer. Then again spake Wainamoinen to the form from out the ocean. Verily I think thee human, of the race of pygmy heroes, might as well be dead or dying, fit for nothing but to perish. Answered thus the pygmy hero, spake the small one from the ocean to the valiant Wainamoinen. Truly am I a god or hero, from the tribes that rule the ocean. Come I here to fell the oak tree, lop its branches with my hatchet. Wainamoinen, old and trusty, answers thus the sea-born hero. Never hast thou force sufficient, not to thee has strength have been given, to uproot this mighty oak tree, to upset this thing of evil, nor to lop its 100 branches. Scarcely had he finished speaking, scarcely had he moved his eyelids, ere the pygmy, full unfolding, quick becomes a mighty giant. With one step he leaves the ocean, plants himself a mighty hero on the forest fields surrounding. With his head the clouds he pierces, to his knees his beard extending, and his locks fall to his ankles. Far apart appear his eyeballs, far apart his feet are stationed, farther still his mighty shoulders. Now begins his axe to sharpen, quickly to an edge he whets it, using 6 hard blocks of sandstone and a soft whetstone stone. Straight away to the oak tree turning, thither stalks the mighty giant, his remnant long and roomy, flapping in the winds of heaven. With his second step he totters on the land of darker color. With his third step firmly planted, reaches he the oak tree's branches, strikes the trunk with sharpened hatchet. With one mighty swing he strikes it, with the second blow he cuts it, and his blade descends the third time. From his axe the sparks fly upward, from the oak tree fire out shooting. Ere the axe descends a fourth time, yields the oak with 100 branches, shaking earth and heaven in falling. Eastward far the trunk extending, far to westward flew the tree tops. To the south the leaves were scattered, to the north its 100 branches. Whosoever a branch has taken had obtained eternal welfare. Who secures himself a tree top has gained mastery of magic. Who the foliage has gathered has delight that never ceases. Of the chips some had been scattered also many splinters. On the blue back of the ocean smooth and mirrored, rocked there by winds and waters, like a boat upon the billows. Storm winds blew them to Northland, some the ocean currents carried. Northland's fair, slender maiden, washing on the shore a headdress, beating on the rocks her garment, rinsing there her silky raiment in the waters of Pohjola. There beheld chips and splinters, carried by the winds and waters. In a bag the chips she gathered, took them to the ancient courtyard, there to make enchanted arrows, arrows for the great magician, there to shape them into weapons, weapons for the skillful archer. Since the mighty oak has fallen, now has lost its 100 branches, that the north may see the sunshine, see the gentle gleam of moonlight, that the clouds may keep their courses, may extend the vault of heaven over every lake and river, over the banks of every island. Groves arose in varied beauty, beautifully grew the forests, and again the vines and flowers. Birds again sang in the treetops, noisily the merry thrushes and the cuckoos in the birch trees. On the mountains grew the berries, golden flowers in the meadows, and the herbs of many colors, many kinds of vegetation. But the barley is not growing. Wainamoinen, old and trusty, goes away and well considers, by the borders of the waters on the ocean's sandy margin, finds 6 seeds of golden barley, even 7 ripened kernels, on the shore of upper Northland, in the sands upon the seashore, hides them in his trusty pouches, fashioned from the squint of squirrel. Some were made from the skin of marten. Hastens forth the seeds to scatter, quickly sows the barley kernels on the rings of callow waters, on the Osmo hill and lowlands. Hark, the titmouse wildly crying from the aspen words that follows. Osmo's barley will not flourish, nor the barley of Wainola, if the soil be not made ready, if the forest be not levelled, and the branches burnt to ashes. Wainamoinen, wise and ancient, made himself an axe for chopping, then began to clear the forest, then began to level the trees, felled the trees of all descriptions, only left the birch tree standing, for the birds a place of resting, where might sing the sweet-voiced cuckoo, sacred bird in sacred branches. Down from heaven came the eagle, through the air he came a-flying, that he might this thing consider, and he spake the words that follow. Wherefore, ancient Wainamoinen, hast thou left the slender birch tree, left the birch tree only standing? Wainamoinen thus made answer, therefore is the birch tree left standing, that the birds may nest within, that the eagle there may rest him, there may sing the sacred cuckoo. Spake the eagle, thus replying, good indeed thy hero judgment, that the birch tree thou hast left us, left the sacred birch tree standing, as a resting place for eagles, and for birds of every feather, even I may rest upon it. Quickly then this bird of heaven kindled fire among the branches. Soon the flames are fanned by north winds, and the east winds lend their forces, but the trees of all descriptions burn them all to dust and ashes. Only is the birch left standing. Wainamoinen, wise and ancient, brings his magic grains of barley, brings he forth his 7 seed grains, brings them forth his trusty pouches, fashioned from the skin of squirrel, some were made from skin of mart. Then to sow his seeds he hastens the barley grains to scatter, speaks unto himself these measures. I the seeds of life am sowing, sowing through my open fingers, from the hand of my Creator. In this soil enriched with ashes, in this soil to sprout and flourish. Ancient Mother, thou that livest her below the earth and ocean, Mother of the fields and forests, bring the rich soil to producing, bring the seed grains to the sprouting, that the barley well may flourish. Never will the earth unaided yield the ripe nutritious barley. Never will her force be wanting, if the givers give assistance, if the givers grace the sowing, grace the daughters of creation. Rise, O earth, from out thy slumber, from the slumberland of ages. Let the barley grains be sprouting, let the blades themselves be starting, let the verdant stalks be rising, let the ears themselves be growing. And the hundredfold producing from my plowing and my sowing, from my skilled and honest labor. Thou, O God up yonder, thou, O Father of the heavens, thou that livest high in ether, curbest all the clouds of heaven, holdest in the air thy counsel, holdest in the clouds good counsel. From the earth dispatch a cloudlet, from the northeast send a rain cloud, from the west another send us, from the northwest still another. Quickly from the south a warm cloud, that the rain might fall from heaven, that the clouds may drop their honey, that the ears may fill and ripen, that the barley fields may rustle. Thereupon Beninat Ukko, Father of the heavens, held his counsel in the cloud space, held his counsel in the ether. From the east he sent a cloudlet, from the northeast sent a rain cloud, from the west another sent he, from the northwest still another. Quickly from the south a warm cloud, joined in seams in clouds together, seen together all their edges, grasp the cloud and hurl it earthward. Quick the rain cloud drops her honey, quick the raindrops fall from heaven, that the ears may quickly ripen, that the barley crop may rustle. Straightway grow the seeds of barley, from the germ the blade unfolding, richly colored ears arising, from the rich soil of the fallow, from the work of Wainamoinen. Here a few days pass unnoted, and as many nights fly over. When the 7th day had journeyed, and the morning of the 8th day, Wainamoinen, wise and ancient, went to view his crop of barley, how his plowing, how his sowing, how his labors were resulting. Found his crop of barley growing, found the blades were triple knotted, and the ears he found 6-sided. Wainamoinen, old and trusty, turned his face and looked about him. Lo, there comes a springtime cuckoo, spying out the splendorous birch tree, rests upon it, sweetly singing. Wherefore is the silver birch tree left unharmed of all the forest? Spake the ancient Wainamoinen. Therefore I have left the birch tree only growing, for home thee joyful singing. Call thou here, O sweet voiced cuckoo, sing thou here from throat of velvet. Sing thou here with voice of silver. Sing the cuckoo's golden flute notes at morning, call at evening, call within the hour of noontide, for the better growth of forests, for the ripening of the barley, for the riches of the Northland, for the joy of Kalevala. Hi Fox, hi Lebo, hello Hakan Abim, welcome to the stream. I'm reading a folklore from the Baltic Sea region, in Finland, Karelia, mostly. It is a almost like a mythology, like instead of Vikings and Odin and Thor and stuff like that. This is what we have in Northeast. The first rune was a story of how the world was created, and the second rune was about how the forests were created and how people learned to live off the land. I've read that in English now. I'm gonna read it again in Finnish in a second. So again, it is gonna be mostly stuff you won't understand directly, but I hope you stay and listen and enjoy how Finnish is pronounced. And I will read the messages and any other updates on stream after. Any alarms or alerts and sound alerts are currently disabled or muted. You can still see them pop up on screen, but they are muted so that we don't disturb the experience. Okay, the second rune of Kalevala. How Väinämöinen sowed forests and taught or learned how to barley, live off the earth. Toinen runo. Nousi siitä Väinämöinen jalan kahden kankahalle, saarelle selällisen, manterehen puuttomahan. Viipyi siitä monta vuotta. Aina eilen eleli saaressa sanattomassa, mantereessa puuttomassa. Arvelee ajattelevi, pitkin päätä pitävi. Kempä maita kylmähän, toukoja tihittämään. Pellervainen pellonpoika, sampsapoika pikkarainen. Sepon maita kylhä vähän, toukoja tihittämään. Kylvimaita kyyhätteli, kylvimaita, kylvisoita, kylviautoja ahtoja, panettavi paasikoita. Mäet kylvimänniköiksi, kummut kylvikuusikoiksi, kankahat kanervikoisiksi, notkot nuoriksi vesoiksi, normaille koivut kylvi, lepät maulle löykeille, tuomet kylvi tuorehille, raijat maille raikkahille, pihlajat pyhille maille, pajut maille paisuville, katajat karvuille maille, tammet virran vierammille, läksipuut ylenemähän, vesat nuoret nousemahan, kasvoi kuuset kukkalatvat, lautui lakkapäät petäjät, nousi koivupuut noroilla, lepät mailla leykehillä, tuomet mailla tuorehilla, katajat karvuilla mailla, katajahan kaunis marja, tuomen hyvä helmä. Vaka vanha Väinämöinen kävi tuota katsomahan, Sampsan siemenen aloa, pellervoisen kylvämiä. Näki puut ylenneheksi, pesat nuoret nousneheksi. Yks on tammi taimimatta, juurtumatta puujumalan. Heitti herjan valloillensa, olevillen onnillensa. Vuotti vielä yötä 3, saman verran päiviäkin. Kävi siitä katsomahan viikon päästä viimeistäkin. Ei ole tammi kasvanunna, juurtununna puujumalan, niin näkevi 4 neittä, 5 Veenon morsianta. Ne oli nurmen niittämissä, kastekorren katkanassa. Nenässä utuisen niemen, päässä saaren ternehisen. Minkon niitti sen haravoi, kaikki karhille veteli. Tulipahan merestä tursas, uros aalloista yleni. Tunki heinäset tulehen, ilmivalkean väkehen, niin kaikki poroksi poltti, kypeniksi kyetteli. Tuuli tutkia läjänen, koko kuivia poroja. Saip on siihen lemmenlehti, tammen terho, josta kasvoi kaunis taipi, yleni vihanta virpi, nousi maasta mansikkaisena, kasvoi 2 haarukkaisena, ojenteli oksiansa, levitteli lehviänsä. Latva täytti lainheillä. Lehvät ilmoille levisi. Pietti pilvet juoksemasta, hattarahat hasertamasta. Päivän peitti paistamasta, kuuhuen kuumottamasta. Silloin vanha Väinämöinen arvelee, ajatteli. Oisko tammen taittajarta, puun sorean sortajata? Ikävä inhemon olla, kamalla kalojen uija, ilman päivän paistamatta, kuuhuen kuumottamatta. Ei ole sitä urosta eikä miestä urheata, joka taisi tammen kaataa 100 latvan langettoa. Siitä vanha Väinämöinen itse tuon sanoiksi virkki. Kave äiti kantajani, luonnotar ylentäjäni. Laita peveen väkeä. Veessä on väkeä paljon. Tämä tammi taittamahan, puu paha hävittämätön. Eestä päivän paistavaisen, tieltä kuun kumottavaisen. Nousipa merestä mies, uros aalloista yleni. Ei tuo ollut suuren suuri, eikä aivan pienen pieni. Miehin peukalon pituinen, vaimon paksan korkuinen. Vaski oli hattu hartioilla, vaskisaappahat jalassa, vaskikintahat käessä, vaskikirjat kintahissa, vaskivyöhyt vyölle vyötty, vaskikirves vyön takana. Varsi peukalon pituinen, terä, kynnen korkuinen. Vakaa vanha Väinämöinen ajattelevi. On miesi näkemiänsä, uros silmän luontiansa. Pystyn peukalon pituinen, härän kynnen korkunainen. Siitä tuon sanoiksi virkki, itse lausui, noin nimesi. Mi sinä olet miehiäsi, kurja rohjaasi. Vähän kuollutta parempi, katonutta kaunihimpi. Sanoi pikkumies merestä, uros aallon vastaili. Olen mie mokoma miesi, uros pieni peen väkeä. Tulin tammen taittamahan, puun murskan murentamahan. Vaka vanha Väinämöinen, itse tuon sanoiksi virkki. Ei liene sinua luotu, eipä luotu, eikä suotu, ison tammen taittajaksi, puun kamalan kaatajaksi. Sai toki sanoheksi, katsahavi vielä kerran, näki mien muuttuneen, uistuneen urohon. Jalkamaassa teuteroivi, päähyt pilviä pitävi. Parta on eessä polven päällä, hivuskannoilla takana. Syltä oli silmien välitse, syltähousut lahkeesta, 1,5 polven päästä, 2 kaatien rajasta. Ivelevi kirvestänsä takaisi tasatereä, 6 kovasiemehen, 7 sierran päähän. Astua lykyttelevi, käy, kullervoitteveli, laveilla laukehimalla, leveillä liehuimilla. Astui kerran kiekahutti hienoiselle hietikolle. Astui toisen torkahutti maalle maksan karvaiselle. Kolmanneksi koikahutti juuren tulisen tammen. Iski puuta kirvehellä, tarpaisi tasaterällä. Iski kerran, iski toisen, kohta kolmannen yritti. Tuli tuiski kirvehestä, panu tammesta pakeni. Tahtoi tammi kallistua, lysmöä, rutimoraita. Niin kerralla kolmannella jopa taisi rammen kaataa, ruhtoa rutimurajan, satalatvan lasketella. Tyven työnnytti itähän, latvan laski luotehesen, lehvät suurehen suvehen, oksat puolin pohjoisen. Kenpä siitä oksan otti, se otti ikuisen onnen. Kenpä siitä latvan taittoi, se taittoi ikuisen taian. Kenpä lehvän leikkaili, se leikkoi ikuisen lemmen. Mi oli lastuja pirrannut, pälähellyt pälkäreitä, selvälle meren selälle, lakehille, lainehille, noita tuuli tuitteli. Meren läikkä läikytteli. Venosina veen selällä, laivasina lainehilla. Kantoi tuuli pohjalahan, pohjan piikapikkarinen, huntujahan huutelevi, pirutteli vaattehia, rannalla vesikivellä, pitkän niemön nenässä. Näki lastun lainehilla. Tuon kokosi konttihinsa. Kantoi kontilla kotiin, pitkäkielellä pihaan. Tehän nojen nuoliansa, ampujan asehiansa. Kun oli tammi taittunun, kaatununna puukatala, pääsivät päivät paistamahan, pääsi kuut kumottamahan, pilvet pitkin juoksemahan. Taivun kaaret kaartamahan, nenähän utuisen niemen, päähän sarven terhenisen. Siitä alkoi salot silota, metsät mielin kasvaella, lehti puuhun ruohomaahan, linnut puuhun laulamahan, rastahat iloitsemahan, käki päällä kukkumahan. Kasvoi maahan marjan varret, kukat kultaiset keolla. Ruohot kasvoi kaikenlaiset, mononmuotoiset sikesi. Ohra on yksin nousematta, touko kallis kasvamatta. Siitä vanha Väinämöinen astuvi, ajattelevi, rannalla selän sinisen, peen vankan vieramille, löyti kuusia jyviä, 7 siemeniä, rannalta merelliseltä, hienoiselta hietiköltä. Kätki nään nahkaisen, koipehen, kesäoravan. Läksi maata kylvämähän, siementä sirottamahan, vierehen Kalevan kaivon, Osmon pellon penkerehen. Tirskoipa tiainen puusta, eipä nouse Osmon ohra, ei kasva Kalevan kaura, ilman maan alistamatta, ilman kasken kaatamatta, tuon tulella polttamatta. Vaikka vanha Väinämöinen teetti kirvehen terävän, siitä kaatoi kasken suuren, mahottoman maan alisti. Kaikki sorti puut sorjant, yhden jätti koivahaisen, lintujen leposiaksi, käkösen kukun tapuuksi. Lenti kokko halki taivon, lintunen ylitsi ilman, tuli tuota katsomahan. Miksipä on tuo jätetty, koivahainen kaatamatta, puu sorea sortamatta? Sanoi vanha Väinämöinen, siksipä on tuo jätetty, lintujen lepeämiksi, koko illan istuimiksi. Sanoi kokko, ilman lintu, hyvinpä sinäkin laait. Heitit koivun kasvamahan, puun sorean seisomahan, linnuille lepeämiksi, itselleni istuimiksi. Tulta iski ilman lintu, valahutti valkeaista. Pohjaistuuli kasken poltti, koillinen kovin porotti. Poltti kaikki puut poroiksi, kypeniksi kyvetteli. Siitä vanha Väinämöinen otti 6 jyviä, 7 siemeniä, 1 nään naakasesta, koivesta, kesäoravan, kesäkärpän kämmenestä. Läksi maata kylvämähän, siementä sirottamahan. Itse tuon, sanoiksi virkki. Minä kylvän kyyhättelen, luojan sormien lomitse, käen kautta kaikki vallan, tänne maalle kasvavalle, aholle ylenevälle. Akkamanteren alainen, mannun eukko, maan emäntä, panennut turva tunkimahan, maa väkevä vääntämähän. Eip oo maa väkeä puutu, sinä ilmoisina ikäinä, kunlia armo antajista, lupa luonnon tyttäristä. Nouse maa makoamasta, luojen nurmi nukkumasta. Pane korret korttumahan sekä varret varttumahan. Tuhansin neniä nosta, saoin haaroja hajota. Kynnystäni, kylvästäni, varsin vaivani näästä. Oi ukko, ylijumalan, tahitaatto taivahinen, vallan pilvissä pitäjä, hattaroiden hallitsija. Pidä pilvissä käräjät, se kehissä neuvot selvät. Iätä iästä pilvi, nostaa lonkaluoteesta. Toiset lännestä lähetä, etelästä ennättele. Ihmo vettä taivaasta, mettä pilvistä pirota. Orahille, nouseville, touvoille, tohisivelle. Tuo ukko, ylijumala, taatto taivon valtiainen, piti pilvissä keräjät, se kehissä neuvot selvät. Iätti iässä pilven, nosti longan luoteesta, toisen lännestä lähet, etelästä ennätteli. Syriin yhteen sysäsi, lomituksin loukahitti, vihmoi vettä taivaasta. Mettä pilvistä pirotti, orahille, kasvaville, touvoille, tohisiville. Nousipa oras okien, kannun karvainen yleni, maasta pellon pehmeästä, Väinämöisen raatamasta, jopa tuosta toisne päänä, 2, 3 yön perästä. Viikon päästä viimeistäkin, vaka vanha Väinämöinen kävi tuota katsomahan, kyntöänsä, kylväänsä. Varsin vaivan näköä. Kasvoi ohra mieltä myöten, tähkät kuuella taholla, korret kolmisolmuisina. Siinä vanha Väinämöinen katseleiksi, käänteleiksi. Niin tuli kevätkäkönen, näki koivun kasvavaksi. Miksipä on tuo jätetty, koivahainen kaatamatta? Sanoi vanha Väinämöinen. Siksipä on tuo jätetty, koivahainen kaatamatta, sinulle kukuntapuuksi. Siinä kukkos, käkönen, helkuttele hietarinta, hoiloa hopearinta. Tinarinta riukuttele, kuku illoin, kuku äänin, kerran keskipäivälläkin. Ihanoiksi ilmojani, mieluisiksi metsiäni, rajahiksi rantojani, viljaisiksi veriäni. That was the second rune in Finnish. third rune. Thank you for the bits, Specs. I love you so much. Thank you, thank you. For the Finnish soft-spoken Finnish ASMR triggers. This is the third and probably the last rune I'm gonna read today. Because that's all my voice can take in one day. Okay. Rune 3. Väinämöinen and Joukainen. Väinämöinen, ancient minstrel, passed his years in full contentment. The meadows of Väinölä, in the plains of Kalevala. Singing ever wondrous legends, songs of ancient wit and wisdom, chanting one day, then a second, singing in the dusk of evening, singing till the dawn of morning. Now the tales of old-time heroes, tales of ages long forgotten, now the legends of creation, once familiar to the children. By our children sung no longer, sung in part by many heroes. In these mournful days of evil, evil days of race befallen, far and wide the story travelled, far away men spread the knowledge of the chanting of the hero, of the song of Väinämöinen. To the south were heard the echoes, all of Northland heard the story. Far away in dismal Northland lived a singer, Joukainen, Lapland's young and reckless minstrel. Once upon a time, when feasting, dining with his friends and fellows, came upon his ears the story that there lived a sweeter singer in the meadows of Väinölä, in the plains of Kalevala. Better skilled in chanting legends, better skilled than Joukainen, better than the one that taught him. Straightway the bard grew angry, envy rose within his bosom, envy of this Väinämöinen, famed to be a sweeter singer. Hasted he angry to his mother full of wisdom, vows that he will southward hasten, hie him southward and betake him to the dwellings of Väinölä, to the cabins of the Northland, there as bard to be in battle with the famous Väinämöinen. Nay, replies the anxious father, do not go to Kalevala. Nay, replies the fearful mother, go not hence to Väinämöinen, there with him to offer battle. He will charm thee with his singing, he will bewitch thee in his anger. He will drive thee back dishonored, sink thee in the fatal snowdrift. Turn to ice thy pliant fingers, turn to ice thy feet and ankles. These the words of Joukainen. Good the judgment of a father, better still a mother's counsel, best of all one's own decision. I will go and face the minstrel, challenge him to singing contest, challenge him as bard to battle, sing to him my sweet-toned measures, chant to him my oldest legends, chant to him my gardener wisdoms, that is best of boasted singers, that this famous bard of Suomi shall be worsted in the contest, shall be become a hapless minstrel. By my songs shall I transform him, that his feet shall be as flintstone, and as oak his nether raiment. And this famous best of singers, thus bewitched, shall carry ever in his heart a stony burden, On his shoulder, bow of marble. On his hand, an fin-stoned gauntlet. On his brow, a stony visor. Then the wizard, Youkahainen, heeding not advice paternal, heeding not his mother's counsel, leads his courser from his table, fire outstreaming from his nostril, from his hoofs the spark outshooting. Hitches to his sledge the fleet foot, to his golden sledge the courser. Mounts impetuous his snow sledge, leaps upon the hindmost cross branch, strikes his courser with his birch whip, pear enamelled. Instantly the prancing racer springs away upon his journey. On he, restless, plunges northward. All day long he on gallops, all day long onward, onward. So the third from morn till evening, till the third day twilight, bring him in the meadows of Wainola, in the plains of Kalevala. As it happened, Väinämöinen, the magician Väinämöinen, rode that sunset on the highway silently for partial driving, down Väinölä's peaceful meadows, o'er the plains of Kalevala. Youkahainen, young and fiery, urging still his foaming courser, dashes down upon the singer, does not turn aside in meeting. Meeting thus in full collision, shafts are therein tied together, hames and collars wedged and tangled. Tangled are the reins and traces, thus performance they will make a standstill. Thus remain and will consider. Water drips from hame and collar, vapors rise from both their horses. Speaks the minstrel, Väinämöinen. Who art thou and whence? Thou comest driving like a stupid stripling, careless, dashing down upon me. Thou hast ruined shafts my tracers, and the collar of my razor. Thou hast shattered into ruin, and my golden sleigh is broken. Box and runners, and dashed to pieces. Youkahainen then make answers. Spake at last the words that follow. I am useful, Youkahainen, but to make answer first, who thou art, whence thou comest, whence thou goest, and from what lowly tribe descended. Väinämöinen, wise and ancient, answered thus the youthful minstrel. If thou art but Youkahainen, thou shouldst give me all the highway. I am many years thy senior. Then the boastful Youkahainen spake again to Väinämöinen. Young or ancient, little matter, little consequence that ages. He that higher stands in wisdom, he whose knowledge is the greater, he that is the sweeter singer, he alone shall keep the highway, and the other take the roadside. Art thou ancient, Väinämöinen, famous sorcerer and minstrel? Let us bring our singing. Let us sing our ancient legends. Let us chant and garner wisdom, that the one may hear the other, that the one may judge the other in a war of recent sayings. Väinämöinen, wise and ancient, thus replied in modest accents. What I know is very little, hardly is it worth the singing, neither is my singing wondrous. All my days I have resided in the gulf and dreary Northland, in a desert land enchanted, in my cottage home for ages. All the songs that I have gathered are the cuckoo's simple measures. Some of these I may remember, but since thou perforce demeanest, I accept thy boastful challenge. Tell me now, my golden youngster, what thou knowest more than others. Open thy store of wisdom. Thus made answer Joukahainen, Lapland's young and fiery minstrel. Know I may a bits of learning, this I know in perfect clearness. Every roof must have a chimney, every fireplace must have a hearthstone. Lives of seal are free and merry. Merry is the life of walrus, feeding on unconscious salmon, daily eating perch and withings live in quiet shallows. Salmon love the level bottoms. Bonds the pike in coldest weather, and defies the storms of winter. Slowly perches swim in autumn, wry-backed hunting deeper water. Spawn in shallows in the summer, bounding on the shore of ocean. Should this wisdom seem too little, I can tell thee other matters, sing thee other wizard sayings. All the northern plough with reindeer, mother horses plough the southland, inner Lapland ploughs with oxen, all the trees on Pisa mountain know I well in all their grandeur. On the Hornarok are fir trees growing tall and slender. Slender grow the trees on mountains, 3 in number, inland oceans, 3 in number, lofty mountains. Shooting to the walls of heaven, Hallanpyörä, near to Yemen, Vatrakoski in Kalevala, Imatra the falling water, tumbles roaring into books. Then the ancient Väinämöinen, women's tales and children's wisdom do not please a bearded hero old enough for wedlock. Tell the story of creation, tell me of the world's beginning, tell me of the creatures in it, and philosophize a little. Then the youthful Joukahainen thus replied to Väinämöinen, know I well the Titman's fountains, pretty birdling is the titmouse, and the viper green a serpent. White things live in brackish waters, perches swim in every river. Iron rusts and rusting weakens. Bitter is the taste of amber, boiling water is malicious, fire is even full of danger. First physician, the creator, remedy the oldest, water, magic is the child of sea foam, God is the worst and best adviser. Waters gush from every mountain, fire descended first from heaven, iron from the rust was fashioned, copper from the rocks created, marshes and lands of the oldest. First of all the trees, the willow, fir trees were the first of houses, hollowed stones of first of kettles. Now the ancient Väinämöinen thus addresses Joukahainen. Canst thou give me now some wisdom? Is this the nonsense all thou knowest? Joukahainen thus made answer, if I can tell thee still of trifle, tell thee of the times primeval, when I ploughed the salt's bosom, when I raked the secret islands, when I dug the salmon grottos, hollowed out the deepest caverns, when all the lakes created, when I heaved all the mountains round them, when I paled the wrecks around them, when I present as a hero, sixth of wise and ancient heroes, seventh of all primeval heroes. When the heavens were created, when they formed the crystal spaces, when the skies were crystal pillared, when the arched were beauty's rainbow, when the moon was placed in orbit, when the silver sun was planted, when the bear was firmly stationed, and with stars the heavens were sprinkled, spake the ancient Wainamoinen. The words, surely, Prince of Liars, Lord of all the host of liars, never were though in existence, surely were though never present. When was plowed the salt sea's bosom, when were raked the secret islands, when were dug the salmon grottos, when were hollowed out the caverns, when the lakes were all created, when were heaped the mountains round them, when the rocks were piled about them, the word never seen or heard of, when the earth was first created, when were made of the ether spaces, when the air was crystal pillared, when the moon was placed in orbit, when the silver sun was planted, when the bear was firmly stationed, and when the skies with stars were sprinkled. Then in anger Joukahainen answered ancient Wainamoinen, then, sir, since I fail in wisdom, though with the sword I offer battle, come thou famous bard and minstrel, though the ancient wonder singer, let us try our strength with broadswords, let our blades be fully tested. Spake the ancient Wainamoinen, not thy sword and not thy wisdom, not thy prudence, not thy cunning, do I fear a single moment. Let who may accept thy challenge, not with thee, not a puny heart bracket, not with so vain and paltry will I ever measure broadswords. Then the youthful Joukahainen, mouth awry and visage sneering, shook his golden locks and answered, who so fierce his blade to measure, fierce to test his strength at broadswords, into wild boar of the forest, swine at heart and swine in visage, singing I will thus transform him, I will herd such hero cowards, this one hither, that one thither. Stamp him in the mire and bedding, in the rubbish of the stable. Angry then grew Wainamoinen, wrathful waxed, fiercely frowning, self-composed he broke his silence, and began his wondrous singing. Sang he not the tales of childhood, children's nonsense, bits of women? Sang he rather bearded heroes than the children never heard of, that the boys and maidens knew not, but by half by bride and bridegroom, known in the part by many heroes. In these mournful days of evil, in the evil times our race befallen, grandly sang Wainamoinen, till the copper-bearing mountains and the flinty rocks and ledges heard his magic tones and trembled. Mountain cliffs were torn to pieces, all the ocean heaved and tumbled, and to distant hills re-echoed. Lo, the boastful Joukahainen is transfixed in silent wonder, with his sledge with golden drummings, floats like brushwood on the billows, sings his bracelets into reed grass, sings his reins into twigs of willow, and to shrubs his golden crush bends. Lo, his birch whip, pearl enamelled, floats a reed upon the border. Lo, his steed with golden forehead suns on a statue on the waters, Hames and traces are as fir boughs, and his colour straw and seagrass. Still the minstrel sings enchantment, still sings sword with golden handle, sings it into gleam of lighting, hangs it in the sky above him, sings his crossbow, gaily painted, to a rainbow o'er the ocean. Sings his quick unfeathered arrows into hawks and screaming eagles, sings his dog with bended muzzle into block of stone beside him, sings his cap off his forehead, sings it into wreaths of vapor. From his hands he sings his gauntlets into rushes on the waters, sings his vesture, purple-colored, into white clothes of the heavens, sings his girdle, set with jewels, into twinkling stars around him, and alas, for Youkahainen, sings him deep into the quicksand, even deeper, 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 into his torture, sings the wizard, to his belt in mud and water. Now it was that Youkahainen comprehended but too clearly what his folly, what the end was of the journey he had ventured, vainly he had undertaken, for the glory of a contest with the grand old Väinämöinen. When at last young Youkahainen, Pohjola's old and sorry stripling, strives his best to move his right foot, but alas, the foot obeys not. When he strives to move his left foot, lo, he finds it turned into a flintstone. Thereupon said Youkahainen, in the deeps of desperation, and in earnest supplication, thus addresses Väinämöinen. O thou wise and worthy minstrel, thou art the only true magician, cease, I pray thee, thine enchantment, only turn away thy magic. Let me leave this slough of horror, loose me from this stony prison, free me from this killing torment, and I will pay a golden ransom. Spake the ancient Väinämöinen, what the ransom thou wilt give me, if I cease from mine enchantment, if I turn away my magic, lift thee from thy slough of horror, loose thee from thy stony prison, free thee from thy killing torment, answered useful Youkahainen. Have at home 2 magic crossbows, pair of bows of wondrous power, one so light a child can bend it, only strength can bend the other. Take these that the one pleases. Then the ancient Väinämöinen, do not wish thy magic crossbows, have a few such already. Thine to me are worse than useless. I have bows in great abundance, bows on every nail and rafter, bows that laugh at all the hunters, bows that go the psalm a-hunting. Then the ancient Väinämöinen sang, alas, poor Youkahainen, deeper into mud and water, deeper into slough of torment. Youkahainen thus made answers. I have at home 2 magic shallops, beautiful the boats and wondrous. One rides light upon the ocean, one is made for heavy burdens. Take of these the one that pleases. Spake the ancient Väinämöinen, do not wish thy magic shallops, I have enough such already. All my bays are full of shallops, all my shores are lined with shallops. Some before the winds are sailors, some built to sail against them. Sank the braggart Youkahainen deeper in the slough of torment, to his chin in mud and water, ever praying, thus beseeching. O thy ancient Wainamoinen, greatest of the old magician, lift me from the pit of sorrow, from the pit of our house of torture. I will give thee all my cornfields, give thy all corn in garners, thus my hapless life to ransom, thus to gain eternal freedom. Wainamoinen had thus made answer, take thy corn to other markets, give thy garners to the needy. I have corn in great abundance, fields I have in every quarter. Corn in all my fields are growing, one's own fields are always richer, one's own grain is much the sweeter. Lapland's young and reckless minstrel, sorrow-laden, thus enchanted, deeper sinks in the mud and water, fair enchained in full of anguish. In the mire his spear bedrabbled, mouth was boastful filled with seaweed, in the grass his teeth entangled. Youkahainen thus beseeches, although ancient Wainamoinen, wisest of the wisdom singers, cease at last thine incantations, only turn away thy magic, and my former life will restore me. Lift me from the stifling torment, free mine eyes from sand and water. I will give thee, sister Aina, fairest daughter of my mother, bride of thine to be the firer, a bride of thine to do thy pleasure. Sweep the rooms within thy cottage, keep thy dwelling place in order. Rinse for thee the golden platters, spread thy couch with finest linen. For thy bed weave golden covers, bake for thee honey biscuits. Wainamoinen, old and truthful, finds at last the wished for ransom, Lapland's young and fairest daughter, sister dear of Youkahainen. Happy he that he has won him, in his age a beauteous maiden, bride of his to be forever, pride and joy of Kalevala. Now the happy Wainamoinen sits upon the rock of gladness, joyful on the rock of music, sings a little, sings and ceases, sings again, and sings a third time, thus to break the spell of magic, thus to lessen the enchantment, thus the potent charm to banish, and the magic spell is broken. Youkahainen, sad but wiser, drags his feet from out the quicksand, lifts his beard from out the water, from the rocks leads forth his courser, brings his sledge back from the rushes, calls his whip back from the ocean, sets his golden sledge in order, throws himself upon the crossbench, snaps his whip and hies him homeward. Hastens homeward, heavy-hearted, sad indeed to meet his mother, Aina's mother, grey and aged. Careless thus he hastes homeward, near his home with noise and bustle. Reckless drives against the penthouse, breaks his shaft against the portal, breaks his handsome sledge in pieces. Then his mother, quickly guessing, would have chided him from rashness, but the father interrupted. Wherefore dost thou break my snow sledge? Where my dust thy fields infringement? Wherefore comes home so strangely? Why this rude and wild behavior? Now alas, poor Youkahainen, cap awry on his forehead, falls to weeping, broken-hearted, head depressed and mind dejected, eyes and lips expressing sadness, answers not his anxious father. Then the mother quickly asked him, sought to find his cause for sorrow. Tell me, firstborn, why thou weepest, heavy-hearted, why thy mind is so dejected, why thine eyes express such sadness. Joukahainen then made answer, Golden mother, ever faithful, 'cause there is to me sufficient, 'cause enough in what was happened, bitter cause of this my sorrow, cause for bitter tears and murmurs. All my days will pass unhappy, since, O mother of my being, I have promised beauteous Aino, thy loved daughter, Aino, my devoted sister, to decree Väinämöinen, bride be to him forever, roof above him, prop beneath him, fair companion at his fireside. Joyful then arose the mother, clapped her hands in glee together. Weep no more, my son beloved, thou hast naught to cause thy weeping, hast no reason for thy sorrow. Often I this hope have cherished, many years I have been praying, that this mighty bard and hero, the wise and valiant Väinämöinen, spouse should be to my beauteous Aino, son-in-law to me, her mother. That is the third rune of Kalevala. Hello, the Bachelor, and thank you, Vex, for gifting him a sub. Arrow, also, you've missed 2 runes. I'm gonna read. I will be right back, and I will read the third rune in Finnish still before going. Just a moment. Alright, shall we go through the third rune in Finnish? As a summary, so far we've read the first 3 runes. First rune is about the creation of the earth. Second rune is about the creation of the forest and of farming. And the third rune is a different one. It's a story of a stupid young man and a wise old hero. Also, Jatsu, thank you so much for the 100 biddies. Very much appreciated, thank you. as always, I will check the alarms and messages and everything after the room. And this third one is gonna be in Finnish. It's gonna be the last one that I read. So just chill back and enjoy the triggers, I guess, and how it sounds like. If you do not understand Finnish, if you do, enjoy Kalevala. Aka vanha Väinämöinen elelivi aikojansa. Noilla Väinölän ahoilla, Kalevalan kankahilla, laulelevi virsiensä, laulelevi taitelevi. Lauloi päivät pääksytysten, yhytysten yöt saneli, muinaisia muisteloita, noita syntyjä syviä, joit ei laula kaikki lapset, ymmärrä yhdet urohot tällä inhalla iällä, katovalla kannikalla. Kauas kuuluvi sama, yö ulos viestit vierähtävät, Väinämöisen laulannasta, urohon osonnasta. Viestit vierähti suveen, sai sanomat Pohjolahan. Olipa nuori Joukahainen, laiha poika lappalainen. Se kävi kylässä kerran, kuuli kummia sanoja, lauluja laeltavaksi, parempia pantavaksi. Noilla Väinölän ahoilla, Kalevalan kankahilla, kuin mitä itsekin tiesi, oli oppinut isolta. Tuo tuosta kovin pahastui, kaiken aikansa kaehti, Väinämöisiä laulajaksi, paremmaksi itseänsä. Jo tuli emonsa luoksi valtavan hempansa. Lähteäksensä käkesi, tullaksensa toivotteli, noille Väinölän tuville, kerran Väinön voitteloille. Iso kielti poikaansa, iso kielti emo epäsi. Lähtemästä Väinölähän, kerran Väinön voitteloilla. Siellä silma lauletahan, lausitahan. Suin lumeen, päin vitihin, kourin ilmahan kovahan, käsin käännyttämäksi, jaloin liikkumattomaksi. Sanoi nuori Joukahainen. Hyvämpä isoni tieto, emoni sitä parempi. Oma tietoni ylinnä. Jos tahon tasalle panna, miesten verroille vetäitä, itse laulan laulujani, sanelen sanelijani. Laulan laulajan parahan, pahimmaksi laulajaksi. Jalkahan kiviset kengät, puksut puiset laintehille. Kivi riipan rinnan päällä, kivi harkon hartioille, kivi hintahat käteen, päähän paatisen kypärän. Siitä läksi, ei totellut, otti ruunansa omansa, jonka turpa tulta iskoi, säkeniä säärivarret, valjasti tulisen ruunan korjan kultaisen eteen. Itse istuvi räkehen, kohennaiksi korjahansa, iski virkkua vitsalla, heitti helmiruoskasella. Läksi virkku vieremähän, hevonen helettämähän. Ajoa suhuttelevi, ajoi päivän, ajoi toisen, ajoi kohta kolmannenkin. Jo päivänä kolmantena päätyi Väinölän ahoille, Kalevalan kankahille. Vaka vanha Väinämöinen, tietäjä iän ikuinen, oli teitteensä ajoja, matkojensa mittelijä, noilla Väinölän ahoilla, Kalevalan kankahilla. Tuli nuori Joukahainen, ajoi tiellä vastatusten, tarttui Aisa Aisan päähän, rahe rakeen takistui, länget puuttui länkilöihin, vemmel vempelen nenähän. Siitä siinä seisotahan, mietitähän. Vesi vuoti vempelestä, usva aisoista usisi. Kysyi vanha Väinämöinen. Kuit olet sinä sukua, kun tulit tuhmasti eteen, vastahan varattomasti. Säret länget, länkäpuiset, pesäpuiset, vempelehet, korjani pilastehtiksi, rämäksi reen retukan. Silloin nuori Joukahainen sanan virkkoi noin nimesi. Mie olen nuori Joukahainen, vaan sano mua oma sukusi. Kuit olet sinä sukua, kuta, kurja, joukkioa. Vaka vanha Väinämöinen jo tuossa nimitteli he, sai siitä sanoheksi. Kuin liet nuori Joukahainen, peäitä syrjähän vähäisen, sieltä nuorempi minua. Silloin nuori Joukahainen sanan virkkoi noin nimesi. Vähä on miehen nuoruudesta, vanhuudesta. Kumpi on tieveltaan parempi, muistannalta mahtavampi. Sepon tiellä seisokahan, toinen tieltä siirtykähän. Lienet vanha Väinämöinen, laulaja iänikuinen. Ruvetkamme laulamahan, saakamme sanelemahan. Mies on miestä oppimahan, toinen toista voittamahan. Vaka vanha Väinämöinen, sanan virkkoi noin nimesi. Mitäpä minusta ompi laulajaksi, taitajaksi. Aina olen aikani elellyt näillä yksillä ahoilla, kotipellon pientarilla, kuunnellut kotiväkeä. Vaan kuitenkin kaikitenkin sano korvin kuullakseni. Mitä sie enintä tiedät, yli muiden ymmärtelet? Sanoi nuori Joukahainen. Tienpä minä jotakin. Se on tien selvälleen, tajuelen tarkoilleen. Räppänä on likilakea, likilieska likiukoata. Hyvä on hylkeän eleä, veen koiran viohkuroija, luotansa lohia syöpi, sivultaansa siikasia. Siijalla on sileät pellot, lohella lakitasainen. Hauki hallalla kutevi, kuu asuu kovalla säällä. Ahven arka kyrmyniskan sykysyt syvsillä uipi, kesät kuivilla kutevi, rantasilla rapsehtivi. Kun ei tuosta kyllin liene, vielä tien munkin tien, arvaan yhden asian. Pohjalla porolla kyntillä, etelä emähevolla, takalappi tarhavalla. Tien puun pisman mäellä, hongat hornan kallioilla. Pitkät on puut pisan mäellä, hongat hornan kallioilla. 3 on koskea kovoa, 3 järkeä jaloa. 3 vuorta korkeata, tämän ilman kannen alla. Hämehes on hällä pyörä, Kaatra koski Karjalassa. Ei ole vuoksen voittanutta, ylikäännyttä Imatran. Sanoi vanha Väinämöinen, lapsen tieto, naisen muisti. Ei ole parta sun urohon, eikä miehen naiseenkaan. Sano syntyjä syviä, asioita, ainoisia. Se on nuori Joukahainen, sanan virkkoi noin nimesi. Tien mä tiaisen synnyn, tien linnuksi tiaisen, kyyn vihreän käärmeeksi, kiiskisen veen kalaksi. Rauan tien raukeaksi, mustan mullan muikeaksi, parin veen on vaikeaksi, tulen polttavan pahaksi. Vesi on vanhin voitehista, kosken kuohukatseista, itse luojan loitsijasta, Jumala parantajista. Vuoresta on vetosen synty, tulen synty taivosesta, alku rauhan ruosteesta, asken kantakalliosta. Mätäs on märkä maita vanhin, pajupuita ensimmäinen, hongan juuri huonehia, paatonen parantaja. Vakaa vanha Väinämöinen, itse tuon sanoiksi virkki. Muistatko mitä ennemmin? Vain jo loppuivat joriset. Sanoi nuori Joukahainen, muistanpa vieläkin vähäsen. Muistanpa ajan mokoman, kun olin merta kyntämässä, merenkolket kuokkimassa, kalahauat kaivamassa, syötveet syventämässä, lampiveet on laskemassa, mäet mylleröittämässä, louet luomassa kokoon. Viel olin miestä 6, 7 urasta, tätä maata saattaessa, ilmoa suettaessa, ilman pieltä pistämässä, taivon kaarta kantamassa, kuuhutta kulettamassa, aurinkoa auttamassa, otavaa ojentamassa, taivoa tähittämässä. Sanoi vanha Väinämöinen, se on varsin valehtelikki. Ei ole sinua silloin nähty, kun on merta kyntehittehin, merenkolkot kuokittihin, kalahauat kaivettihin, syönveet syvennettihin, lampiveet on laskettihin, mäet mylleröittihin, louhet luotihin kokohon. Eikä lie sinua nähty, ei lie nähty, ei kuultu, tätä maata saattaessa, ilmoa suettaessa, ilman pieltä pistettäessä, taivon kaarta kannettaessa, kuuhunutta kulettaessa, aurinkoa autettaessa, otavaa ojennettaessa, taivoa tähittäessä. Se on nuori Joukahainen, tuon tuosta sanoiksi virkki. Kun ei lie minulla mieltä, kysyn mieltä miekaltani. Oi vanha Väinämöinen, lauleja, laveasuinen. Lähden miekan mittelöhön, käynpä kalven katselohan. Sanoi vanha Väinämöinen, en noita pahoin pelännyt miekkojasi, mieliäsi, tuuriasi, tuumiasi, vaan kuitenkin kaitenkin lähen, en miekan mittelöhön, sinun kanssasi katala kerrallasi, kehnoraukka. Siinä nuori Joukahainen murti suunta, väänti päätä, murti mustua haventa. Itse tuon sanoiksi virkki. Ken ei käy miekan mittelöhön, lähe ei kalvan katselohen, sen minä sijaksi laulan, alakärsiksi kaseten. Panen semmoiset urohot, sen sikäli, tuon täkäli, sorran sontatunkiohon, läävän nurkkahan nutistan. Siitä suuttui Väinämöinen, siitä suuttui ja häpesi. Itse loihin laulamahan, sai itse sanelemahat. Ei ole laulut, lasten laulut, naisen naurut, ne on partasuun urohon. Jot ei laula enää lapset, eikä pojat puoletkana, kolmannetkana kosiat, tällä inhällä iolla, katovalla kannikalla. Lauloi vanha Väinämöinen, järvet laukkui, maa järisi, vuoret vaskiset vapisi. Paet vahvat paukahteli, kalliot kaheksi lenti, kivet rannoilla rokeli. Lauloi nuoren Joukahaisen, vesat lauloi vempelehen, pajupehkon länkilöihin, rajat rakehen nenähän. Lauloi korjan kultalain, lauloi lampiin hajoiksi, lauloi ruoskan helmiletkun meren rantaruokosiksi. Lauloi laukkipään hevosen kosken rannalle kiviksi. Lauloi miekan kultakahvan salamoiksi taivahalle, siitä jousen kirjavarren kaariksi vesien päälle, siitä nuolensa sulitut havukoiksi kiiltäviksi. Siitä nuoren koiran koukkuleuan, se on maahan maakiviksi. Lakin lauloi miehen päässä pilven pystypää kokaksi. Lauloi kintahat käestä ummin lammin lumpeiksi. Siitä haljakan sinisen hattaroiksi taivahille, pyöltä ussakan utuisen haki taivahan tähiksi. Itse lauloi joukahaisen, lauloi suohon suoniveestä, niittyhyn nivuslihoista, kankahansen kainaloista. Jo nyt nuori joukahainen jopa tiesi, jotta tunsi, tiesi tielle tulleensa, matkalle osahensa, voittolohon, laulelohon, kerran vanhan Väinämöisen. Joksoitteli jalkoansa, eipä jaksa jalka nousta, toki toistakin yritti. Siinä oli kivinen kenkä. Siitä nuoren joukahaisen, jopa tuskaksi tulevi, läylemmäksi lankevi. Sanan virkkoi, noin nimesi. Oi on viisas Väinämöinen, tietäjä iäniköinen. Pyöräytä puhat sanasi, peräytä lauseesi. Päästä tästä pälkäästä, tästä seikasta selitä. Panenpa parahan makson, annan lunnahat lujimmat. Niin sanoi vanha Väinämöinen. Niin mitä minulle annat, jos pyörän pyhät sanani, peräytän laiseeni, päästän siitä pälkäästä, siitä seikasta selitän. Sanoi nuori joukahainen. Onp mul kaarta kaksi, jousta on kaksi kaunokaista. Yksi on lyömähän riveä, toinen tarkka ammunnalle. Otan niistä jompikumpi. Sanoi vanha Väinämöinen. Huoli en hurja jousiastasi, en katala kaaristasi. On noita itsellänikin, joka seinä seisoteltu, joka vaarainen varattu. Miehitse metsässä käymät, urahit ulkotöillä. Lauloi nuoren joukahaisen, lauloi siitäkin syvemmä. Sanoi nuori joukahainen. Onp mul purtta kaksi on kaunoista venoa. Yksi on kiistassa kepeä, toinen paljon kannattava. Mutta niistä jompikumpi. Sanoi vanha Väinämöinen, emp huoli pursiasi, veneistäsi valita. On noita itsellänikin, joka tela tempailtu, joka lahtema laottu, mikä on vastasään meniä. Lauloi nuoren joukahaisen, lauloi siitäkin syvemmä. Sanoi nuori joukahainen, on mun uritta kaksi kaunoista hepoa, jos on yksi juoksulle jalampi, toinen raisu rahkehillä. Otan niistä jompikumpi. Sanoi vanha Väinämöinen. En huoli hevosiasi, sure en sukkajalkojasi. On noita itsellänikin, jonka soimiteltu, jonka tanhua taluttu, vesi selvä selkäluilla. Rasvalampi rautasilla. Sanoi nuori joukahainen. On viisas Väinämöinen, tietäjä, iänikuinen. Laula jo laulusi takaisin, heitä vielä heikko henki, laske täältä pois minua. Virta jo jalkoa vetävi, hiekka silmi hiovi. Kun pyörät pyhät sanasi, luovuttelet luotteesi. Annan aina siskoseni, lainoan emoni lapsen, sulle pirtin pyyhkiäksi, lattian lakaisijaksi, hulikkojen huutojaksi, vaippojen viruttajaksi, kutovaksi kultavaipan, mesileivän leipojaksi. Siitä vanha Väinämöinen ihastui ikihyväksi, kun sai neijon joukahaisen vanhan päivänsä varaksi. Istuiksen ilokivelle, laulun paelle paneiksi. Lauloi kotvan, lauloi toisen, lauloi kotvan kolmannenkin. Pyörti pois pyhät sanansa, perin laski lausehensa. Pääsi nuori joukahainen, pääsi leuan lietteestä, parran paikasta pahasta. Hevonen kosken kivestä, reki rannalta rahaosta, ruoska rannan ruokaista. Kohoeli korjaansa, reutoine rekosensa, läksi mielellä pahalla, syömellä synkiänsä. Luoksi armahdemonsa, tykö valtavanhempansa. Ajoa karittelevi, ajoi kummasti kotiin, rikki riihen rekensä, aisat poikki portahasen. Alkoi äiti arvella, isonen sanan suonovi. Suottapa rikoit rekesi, tahallasi aisan taitoit. Mitä kummasti kuletkin, tulet tuhmasti kotiin. Tuossa nuori joukahainen, itkeä vetistelevi, allapäin, pahoilla mielin, kaikin kallella kypärin, sekä huulin hyypynysin, nenän suulle langenuisin. Emo ennätti kysyä, vaivan nähnyt vaitella. Mitä itket, poikueni, nuorena saavasi nureksit? Olet huulin hyypynysin, nenän suulle langennuisin. Sanoi nuori joukahen, oion maamo, kantajani, joon syytä syntynynnä, taikoja tapahtununna. Syytä kyllin itkeäni, taikoja nureksiani. Tuot itken tämän ikäni, puhki polveni murehin. Annoin Aino siskoseni, lupasin emoni lapsen Väinämöiselle varaksi, laulajalle puolisoksi, turvaksi tutisevalle, suojaksi sopenkululle. Emo kahta kämmentänsä, hykersi molempiansa. Sanan virkkoi, noin nimesi. Elä itke, poikueni. Ei ole itkettäviä, suuresti surettavia. Tuota toivoin tuon ikäni. Puhki polveni halasin. Sukuhina suurta miestä. Rotuhini rohkeata. Vävykseni väijön poista. Laula täältä langokseni. Sisar nuoren joukahaisen. Itse itkullen apeutui. Itki päivän. Itki toisen, poikkipuolin portahalla, itki suuresta surusta, apeasta, miela-alasta. Sai emo sanelemahan. Mitä itket, Ainoseni, kun et saava suuren sulhon, miehen korkean kotihin, ikkunoillen istujaksi, lautsoille lavertajaksi. Tuon tytär sanoiksi virkki. Emoni, kantajani, itkenpä minä jotakin. Itken kassan kauneutta, tukan nuoren tuiheutta, hivuksien hienoina. Jos ne pienne peitetään, katetahan kasvavana. Tuotpa ikäni itken, tuota päivän armoutta, suloitta kuun komean, ihanuutta ilman kaiken. Jos olis nuorena jättäminen, lapsena unohtaminen. Veikon veistotanterille, ison ikkunan aloille. Sanovi emo tytölle, lausui vanhenin lapsellensa. Mene huima huolinesi, epäkelpo itkuinesi. Ei ole syytä synkistyä, aihetta apeutua. Paistavi Jumalan päivä muuallakin maailmassa. Ei isosi ikkunoilla, veikkosi veräjän suulla. Myös on marjoja mäellä, ahomailla, mansikoita, poimia sinun poloisen, ilmassa etenempänykin. Ei aina ison ahoilla, veikon viertakankailla. That was the third rune in Finnish about a stupid young man losing a battle to a wise old man, and selling away his sister as a price. Get a ring from Quicksand. Thank you so much for Kudit for following. Thank you. Welcome to the nest. Just again, since I might have missed someone, thank you for following for Jovi, Tech Mr. Hakan, Ilpala, the Bustler, and Kudit. Thank you for Bits, Specs, and Jatsu, and thank you Bex for gifting the Bustler a sub. That was our first stream of soft-spoken Nordic folklore and mythology. There's a lot more to go. If I remember correctly, we will three runes through in 2.5 hours, and I have some 20 more to go. So, if you enjoyed the stream, let me know. We'll make sure to make this happen another time. Whether you wanna hear more of the folklore or you wanna hear more of soft-spoken Finnish things, I feel like this is still somewhat more soothing than it would be about me talking about my day in Finnish. So, yeah. Make sure you follow Tara for more awesome streams. Thank you so much, Chachi. Thank you for dropping by and spending time with me. You can of course Twitch. You can find me on Twitter. And if you wanna drop by and hang out, you can find me in Discord. No, I can't type and you can hear all silent typing. Okay, there we go. Problem at all, always here to support you. Thank you, Jensen. You're such a sweetheart. Okay. I'm not gonna have a voice tomorrow if I keep on going, and it's already a bit of a risk. So we're gonna call the stream here. Thank you everyone for tagging along. Let me know your thoughts on either DM or, I don't know, Twitter. And we'll see if this happens again. I really liked it, so it might. I hope you all have a wonderful day or a wonderful evening, and I'll be working during the weekend, so I won't be live until Monday, but I'll make sure to bring some content on Monday. We'll see. Half of the days I'm gonna be 4 days of streams next week. Half of the days are gonna be cozy content with soft speaking, and the other 2 days are gonna be absolute mayhem with TFT. Keep, balanced. But thank you again everyone for tagging along and spending the evening with me, and I'll catch you next time. Okay, bye bye.